Africa is thousands of miles from the Americas, an ocean so vast it once terrified sailors. So ask yourself this: why did Europeans cross an ocean? To enslave Africans. Why not enslave Europeans? Why not rely on indigenous labor forever? Why did slavery become black? Because this was never about distance. It was about profit. To understand why Africans were chosen, we have to start with why Europeans came to the Americas at all. European empires did not sail west for adventure. They came for one reason: wealth, gold, silver, land, power. From the late 1400s onward, Europe's monarchies were locked in competition. Whoever extracted the most resources ruled the world. The Americas were not discovered. They were targeted. But here's what most people get wrong. Slavery was not the original plan. At first, Europeans believed the land itself would make them rich. In Central and South America, Spanish colonists seized gold and silver mines already built by indigenous civilizations. Native people were forced to worked to exhaustion, worked to death. Violence was constant. Punishment was public. Profit was enormous. So if slavery was already working, why change the system? Because the system was collapsing. Indigenous populations were devastated by disease: smallpox, measles, influenza. Entire societies vanished in a single generation. In North America and the Caribbean, colonists faced another problem. There was no gold, no silver, just land. And land alone doesn't create wealth. Labor does. So Europeans turned the land itself into a machine. Sugar, tobacco, rice, later, cotton. These crops generated massive profits, but only if labor costs were near zero. European workers demanded wages. Indentured servants had contracts. Plantation owners wanted something permanent. Not workers, property. And that's when Europe looked south. Africans were not enslaved because they were weak. They were enslaved because Europeans had already begun enslaving them. Decades before plantations exploded, Africans were being captured and sold through Atlantic trade routes. This created a model, a supply chain. But Africa wasn't chosen randomly. It fit Europe's needs perfectly. And three brutal calculations sealed Africa's fate. First, distance. An ocean made escape nearly impossible. Second, experience. Many Africans came from agricultural societies skilled in large-scale farming. Third, control. Africans were isolated from their homelands, languages, and families. This was intentional. But here's the twist. Europe tried enslaving indigenous people first, and it failed for a reason. Indigenous people knew the land. They escaped. They resisted. They revolted. Europeans didn't know how to survive without them. Disease killed colonists faster than resistance did. So Europeans didn't choose Africans because they were easier. They chose them because they were harder to escape. And once the system worked, it evolved. Slavery in the Americas became hereditary. Children inherited bondage at birth. This had never existed on this scale before. To justify it, Europeans needed an explanation. So they created one. Race did not cause slavery. Slavery created race. And once race was invented, the system could run forever. False science claimed Africans were inferior. Religion was twisted. Law enforced blackness as bondage. This erased an inconvenient truth. Slavery once crossed all racial lines. But profit demanded permanence. And permanence demanded dehumanization. By the time abolition arrived, the damage was done. Between 9 and 12 million Africans were shipped across the Atlantic. Millions more died before arrival. Entire economies were built on stolen labor. Modern wealth has fingerprints. So remember this: Africans were not enslaved because of who they were. They were enslaved because Europe chose profit over humanity. This was not destiny. It was not nature. It was a decision. And decisions leave scars. If this history was never taught to you, ask yourself why. And now that you know this, you can't unknow it. You can't pretend this history was accidental. You can't blame the victims for a system designed to profit from their suffering. So don't let this story stop here. Talk about it. Question what you were taught. Share this with someone who was never told the truth. And if you believe history should be told honestly, from the perspective of those who paid the price, not those who wrote the textbooks, subscribe. Because understanding the past is the first step toward breaking the systems that still shape the present. The truth doesn't ask for comfort. It asks for courage.